What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Talk. We have a great guest here for you today. It's Ani, who's the global head of marketing and business at SNPIT, and it's the world's first snap to earn using camera NFTs. You know, we love talking all things NFT on our channel, so he's definitely a perfect guest for us. Ani, how you doing today?
Thank you for having me, Brian and Joe. I'm doing fine. It's a little early here in Japan. So just trying to get up to speed with the day, but yeah, otherwise doing great.
Again, thanks for joining us. And I know you're in Japan. I know it's early because whenever we're trying to schedule this podcast, I was like getting so confused with JST time. I had to ask ChatGPT, convert this to mountain time. What time are we in? So it's morning for you, it's evening for us. But
Right.
I'm super happy we got a chance to make it happen. Before we dive into the company, I want to hear all about it because it sounds pretty freaking awesome, if you ask me. I would love to know a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into the world of Web3, and how'd you get to be the global head of marketing and business for Snippet?
Yeah, I used to, so probably like most other people, I used to just kind of dabble in with crypto. You hear about it and you're like, hey man, you can make a lot of money through it. And I think I was like a student, so I was like, you barely have bunnies, but you're just like, yeah, let me place a couple bets, and next day I'm gonna be a millionaire, whatnot. So I was buying some stuff here and there without really knowing much about it. So that was like my foray into crypto. So this was back in like 2016, 17, something like that. Um, and then fast forward, so in terms of my career, I wasn't really involved with crypto or Web3 at all. I was just, completely Brian, you were just mentioning you were in Mountain View, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting because I was in like the so-called startup world as well. Um, so it's kind of like I was working for a Japanese startup and I was doing business and whatnot. And at the point where I was looking for like a career change, I I happened to reconnect with the founder of SnapIt, whom I'd already known, just through a personal relationship. And he at the time was not working on SnapIt yet. So all the years that I knew him, he wasn't working on SnapIt. I knew that he was kind of dabbling in crypto as well. He was mining Bitcoin, whatnot. So we used to, kind of talk about it. But otherwise, in terms of a job, neither of us were really doing it. And then I was catching up with him, and he was like, this time out of the blue, he was like, "Hey, by the way, I'm about to start this project called Snap It, and I would love to have you as part of the team." And I was like, "Wow, like crazy coincidence," because I was just, looking for a change, and I was like, yeah, why not? And initially it started off as, and when you're kind of looking for a change, you want some time off for yourself. So you're like, yeah, full time, I'm not really into it. Part time, I'll just help you out a little here and there. And then before you know it, within like 2 months, you're like all in, and you're just using up all your time. So yeah, that's kind of and it's been over a year since then.
Oh man, I love it. What a good story. And it sounds like you've been in cryptocurrency industry for a while. You said 2015, 16. So you've certainly seen your fair share of bear and bull markets. How you feeling?
Actually, so that's the thing, right? When I, as a career, it just started in 2023, but as like a investor, amateur investor, I've been involved since like 2016, 17. But it's pretty funny because when I first started, it was to the point where I didn't even know what a bull or a bear run like meant. So I was really, an uneducated fellow in the industry. So I mean, I can't even call myself as someone who's been in the industry for that long. Um, but definitely, it definitely helps in the sense that, because at the time, as a novice or as an uneducated person, someone who doesn't even understand a bull or a bear run, you're seeing all the ups and downs. Well, that's how you're registering it. You're seeing it as, whoa, it's so volatile. Things are happening every day. It's like, one day you think you made a lot of money, the next day you think you lost a lot of money, and then you forget about it. And then a couple months later, you're again back up like, whatever X. So it's very, there's a lot of ups and downs. And I think having that experience already, at whatever point in your crypto journey kind of helps because you're a little more calm. You're a little more, you're not being swayed by all the ups and downs, all the bull runs and bear runs, and translating that into like a project or keeping a project alive and successful is how do you sustain the company or how do you strategize and build your product or your roadmap in a way where you're not getting knocked down during the bear runs, and where you can maximize all the benefits and all the advantages during the bull runs. But if it's a bear run, then you're still alive, right? You're not just, you don't just fade away. So I think as a team at Snapit, we're very committed to being here for the long run. Not just one bull run and then it's like boom, hey guys, like where did these guys go? So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And let's talk a little bit about Snapit. It's extremely interesting. Joe and I both absolutely love everything to do with the NFT world. We obviously dabble pretty heavily in the world of like meme coins. We're big investors in just the macro market, so we just love the entire industry. But one thing that stood out to me about Snapit is just there's nothing like it out there. At least from what I can tell, and I love projects that have like a creative spin on it. There's just like creativity there, and that's just something that just really stood out whenever I was kind of looking over it. But would love for you to give the audience just a good view of what Snap It is and what your goals are.
Yeah, so Snapit originally started off as a snap to earn GameFi play to earn project where you essentially take photos, and you earn points and tokens. So it's very similar to STEPN, which
Mm.
obviously most of us know, especially if you're into NFTs. Um, Really popping, right through COVID, pre and through COVID. So and as they had sneaker NFTs, we have camera NFTs. So we were heavily inspired by Stepan, in a good way. So our founder, really loved it and just thought that wow, like and he already had been creating or created a Web 2 photography app. So it's called Pictier, Pictier, and essentially you share photos, but there aren't any there isn't a concept of comments or likes. So so our founder really hated the idea of like, IG clouds, people kind of creating this fake universe just to like promote themselves or gain clout. And obviously, I mean, Instagram as a platform to do that is a great place. So, if you're into that, then fantastic for you, and you're probably making a lot of money as well. But our founder was like, why isn't there a platform where you can, just genuinely share pictures for your love of it, for your beauty of it, without, feeling like you're going unseen. Let's just say you take a really nice photo, right? Grand Canyon, beautiful place. You take a nice photo, and why is it that you don't get as much recognition as people with like 100K followers? It seems a little unfair because what you're seeing is the same beauty as what a 100K follower person is seeing. So this is kind of the concept for him behind building Pictier. So he built it. So the point is he was already dabbling with like photography as a theme. So he was like, "Hey, how can I merge photography with Web 3?" And he really believed in the concept of like a play to earn or something to earn. That Web 3 can actually bring about a new way of lifestyle, a new format where people can make a little bit of money, if not a lot. So so he just started building this out, and yeah, our camera NFTs. First of all, when we first sold it in 2023, or I think it was September, October, September was we sold out within 24 hours, completely, and we raised like 1 million through that. Um, so great start. Um, and yeah, since then it's just been, a lot of like new updates, a lot of new game features. A lot of our users are based in Japan, so that's where my job comes in. Is how do I get it out of Japan? And for example, that's why I travel a lot. I attend a lot of different events. I talk to different people. But as of today, the majority of the user base are in Japan. But I'm pretty proud to say that SNAPIT is probably the most successful GameFi project out of Japan at the moment. So it's been great so far. Now, for the last, max 6 months, I would say 3 to 4 months, we've been evolving SnapIt from like a GameFi slash play to earn into more of an ecosystem. And this was already a part of the roadmap. But as as you guys probably know better than me, when I say, while it might sound interesting for me to say, hey, it's a game where you take photos and you earn, it's Snap to Earn. Whatever extra earn has kind of been dying down over the last few years. The hype around it hasn't been too much. And as we know with the industry, people or the industry itself as a whole tends to get really, um, pushed through with different trends of or waves of trends. I think last year it was deepened for a while. For the last few months, and this year it seems to be AI, and a couple years before that it was NFTs and so on. Right? We have different waves of trends, and I think we have a tendency to really over focus on the trending subject at the moment, and it's understandable because there's just so many new projects coming up like constantly, like every single day, and just a small like epitome of that is if you have like one of the exchange apps, right? Like, and I'm sure a lot of us have a few exchange apps on our phone, and you have the notifications turned on. It's like boom, like something's going live, something's going live, something's going live. Like constantly, there are new coins and tokens going live. So there's a bunch of projects always going live. So it makes sense why you would get swayed by different trends. But going back, we just knew that X2E or something to play, or play to earn. Sorry, is just not going to be sustainable for us, especially in the global market. So in Japan, it's a little unique. Japan's a very unique market because play to earn is still very much alive, and this might even be a hint for you know foreign projects who are trying to enter the Japanese market. But Japan, people love something to earn. People love people even just love just small games like lifestyle games because it's been part of our culture for a long time, like from an era of like flip phones, right? We always had mobile games. And I remember as a kid, because back then, like, this is like pre 4G. I think it was even like pre 3G or just around the time like 3G was coming up. And the whole how data was being charged to your phone is like a lot different to now. So, if you, as a kid, you're like, oh, whoa, that's a cool game. You just start playing a bit. Next month, like, parents are like on you and they're like, dude, what is this phone bill, right? Like, what are you doing? Like, you get grounded from your phone like a month or two. Anyway, that's another story. I know I keep getting distracted, but going back, so it's kind of like the ecosystem that we're kind of building out here is what can we do with the photos? And we're building a database of these unprocessed photographs. So I think I forgot to mention, with Snapit, you can't upload any photos. You have to take photos like raw, like within the app. So you have to open the app up, take a photo, and then you use it to, participate in battles, photo battles, or vote or whatnot. Um,
Well,
I'm not.
so didn't
Go
mean to
ahead.
cut you off, but how's the NFT incorporate there with the app? I guess that's where I'm disconnecting.
Right. So the NFTs are essentially it's like a virtual camera. So when you take a photo, right, through the app, you can either use a free camera, which comes with that when you first download
Gotcha.
it,
Cool.
which is not an NFT, or you can buy an NFT, and it has levels to it. You can upgrade it, points, efficiency, battery. Uh, the in a nutshell, the higher the levels you have, the more earning potential you have. And the reason you have a better earning potential is because the whole concept is your photos are blurred. So you start off with pixelated photos. Even if you have like an iPhone 16, you start off with pixelated photos, and then while you work your way up with the camera NFTs or the free camera, you're like unlocking it, and eventually you get to a level like level whatever 50 or 60 where your pictures are not pixelated anymore. So this is kind of the background to how the whole game. This is the whole GameFi aspect to it, right? Um, of course, there are gameplays in there where it doesn't your pixelation doesn't matter, like it doesn't get pixelated. But that's kind of the main concept of it. So going back, we're basically sourcing. We have a GameFi app that sources authentic, unprocessed photographs, and the on-chain data is geolocation and timestamp. So this means that if you tell me that, yesterday you went to the Grand Canyon and took a particular photo at the Grand Canyon, we can prove it. We can actually, it's, I know that you're not lying, or that you didn't outsource it to your friend and, pay him a couple bucks and say, hey, like whatever. Someone I might have asked you to like, go and take a photo, right? I'm like, hey man, like, hey Brian, I want a nice photo of the Grand Canyon, or I don't know, your local Chipotle or something. And maybe I was very particular in asking you to go take the photos, but you're like, like, I'll just ask a friend to go get it. But I will actually know if you were there at a certain time taking it. Um, I guess in this example, I'd have to know your username or whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah. But anyway, the point is, we know if a photo was taken at a certain time or a certain day. No, let's use this example. I'll know that you didn't take the screenshot through Google Maps instead of actually going there, right? So yeah, that's kind of the so our ecosystem is we're building a database of photographs called the World Repository, and this has business use case. So I know my speech is getting a bit long, but I'm trying to tie it back all in. Why are we still successful? It's been over a year as a GameFi, and a lot of GameFis kind of the ship unfortunately sinks midway. This is where it comes in. It's because of the business model that we have. We do a lot of partnerships with businesses, B2B, whether it's character or anime IPs, or it's like legitimate, Web2 businesses, like a travel agency, for example. Um, and it's because even whether it's with the GameFi or the database, which we call the World Repository, um, we can open this up like a stock image. Either people can come in if you're training an AI model and you need photos, right? Database data sets. You can come in and legally use these photos, and obviously the people who contributed to it get a cut of it as well because they're the ones who took the photos. So we're creating this sustainable business model. So that's one way. Another way is we also have the GameFi, we have the database. So someone can commission us to go source, X number of Y pictures. Um, so we actually had a very major beverage company that we all know um, worldwide. And in Japan, there's a lot of vending machines,
Mhm.
especially in the cities. Um, So they wanted us. So this ended up not happening for more like business reasons, but the request that they had was, we want you to go around taking photos of all these vending machines, whatever time of the day, and whatever they wanted to use it for. The point is, if you have like 10,000 photos, right? Um, it's pretty solid, like data analytics you can run on that, however you want to use it. So that's kind of different ways in which we can actually monetize and build a sustainable business model out of it. There's a bit more depth to it, but I know I've been like ranting for a while, so I'm gonna pause myself here for a sec.
Yeah, great, interesting project. I needed an excuse to go to Japan. I love Japan. I go there every year. I'm not sure which part you're at, Andy. Where are you at?
I'm in Tokyo.
Okay. I love Osaka. I've been in Osaka 2 years. Sure. Nothing wrong with Tokyo, but I got a little one. In Tokyo, you just get lost. Yeah, so it's so picturesque there. Like, yeah, you've got a really good target market there. I'm not sure if you went over this already, but tell us about is battling a big part of the product still?
Yeah, battling is a huge part of the product. We have a couple battle types. Just for those who don't know what a battle is, essentially your photo goes up against someone else's photo, typically at random. And other users randomly vote to decide who took it best. And for most of our battles, the first person to get 10 votes first wins the battle. So, and if you're a voter, then if you happen to vote for the photo which or you if you vote for a photo which happens to win, then you also earn points as well. So we have something called main battle. This is where the kind of the NFTs. Well, it doesn't have to be NFTs, but you need like base camera level to even be able to participate because it has the highest earning potential as well. So we have the main battles, we have the casual battles. So the casual battles is where your photo quality doesn't really matter. So regardless, even if you're level 1, your photos don't go up pixelated. So it gives everyone an equal playing field. Whether you're at like level 50 or even at level 1, everyone gets like your iPhone 15, 16 quality photos, and everyone battles within that. And then we have other things like, friend battles where, let's say Brian issues a code, and then me and Joe join in, and a few of our other friends join in with our photos, and random other people vote for it. So it's like we can have a bet. We can bet an ice cream and be like, hey, whoever took the best photo and wins the vote, wins an ice cream, and then we're leaving the voting to other people, right? And then we have uh, choose it. So choose it is really interesting because actually I feel like I don't know. I'll ask you. I'll ask you guys this right after I explain what choose it is. But choose it is essentially where one person posts multiple photos and has other random people vote for it. So maybe Joe has like 6 photos he's proud of, and then he posts it, and then other users vote to decide who took it best. I mean, sorry, which photo is best. So, yeah, what I was going to ask you is maybe choose it is something that I feel like really fits the North American market because you want to flex your own photos and whatnot. But
Sense
yeah,
of
so we have
competition. Sense of
competition.
competition. We like that stuff. I don't know. At least,
Exactly.
like kind of like I would like my photo to do better than Joe's for sure. And I'm sure he feels the same way.
Right. Exactly.
Curious, tell me a little bit about the tokenomics here. Snap it. So you have the Snap it token and then Snap it points. How do those all correlate together?
Yeah. So I think I mentioned that there's a lot of different gameplays within the app. So the way it works is essentially, um, so we have 2 point systems within the game. One is called FPs, called free points, and the other is called STPs, snap it. And the main difference between the two is that depending on what gameplay features you use, what points you earn is different. And the utility of these points are different as well. But in general, you earn STPs through you earn FPs through all the free to play features. So if you don't have, if you, let's say you're just using Snapit, but you didn't invest in Camera NFTs and you don't own any Camera NFTs, it's more likely that you earn, more FPs than STPs, even though you still can earn STPs. So that's kind of the main difference. Now the utility is different as well. STPs can be converted to our SNAPIT tokens, to our SNPT tokens uh, through an AMM, so automated market maker. The whole conversion, and you can go back and forth. So now that our token's live, or it's been live for over 6 months, if let's say it is a world out there where if you wanted to kind of buy your way into the game to a certain extent, you can do that. Although there are limitations to it, of course, because so that it doesn't become unfair for other users. Let's say you don't have to just only earn your STPs through the game. You can buy your SNPIT token and then convert it to STPs, and then use those STPs to, for example, get an additional item that boosts your camera, that boosts your levels, or you have STPs to upgrade your cameras because you need to burn these points to upgrade yourself or level up within the game as well. So you can do all of this. Now, FPs you can only earn, and the FPs which you earn, you can convert. You can convert that um, either to STPs or you can convert it to digital gift cards. So, like Amazon gift cards and whatnot. So it's definitely a very quite a comfortable, not comfortable, but very flexible platform in terms of all the different exit options that we give our users. And it's to make sure that there's always, maybe because here's the thing, right? Like with the X2E and especially in the Japanese market, or a lot of the Southeast Asian markets as well, you need tokens might not be the best way for those people to still participate in the game and try to earn and exit their earnings. They need another kind of avenue to potentially exercise their earnings. So I think having this option really opens us up, not just as a Web3 project, but even kind of like a Web2 project, where there's a lot of you do something and then you earn points and then you can cash those points out. So yeah, I think that's what makes us a little unique in terms of we are a game where even if you're not a Web3 person, you can still participate and have fun. Um, and in the process, maybe it would be happy. We'd be happy if that person gets acquainted with whatever crypto or Web3 is, so that there's more people that get accustomed to the Web3 world.
What's been the biggest feedback from the consumers utilizing this so far, and any changes coming up because of that?
Yeah. So one of the things is, first of all, feedback has been great in Japan. Because I can mainly only speak for Japan because that's where our main user base is. Definitely, some of the voices we're getting is like, or technically we're not getting this voice, but this is my own voice, I guess. It's that as someone who's part of the project, right? My eventual goal is to get the project recognition in the global market to a point where, for example, and this is a really good example, and I always use this example where you guys are like, hey, I've known about Snapper for like a year. I've been using it, or anyone is, or when I go to events, or when we go to events. Because I think our coverage outside of Japan, unfortunately, right now is um, not as great as it can be. So definitely, for any project, right? You dream of the day where you're wearing your shirt and you walk into a room and people are like, "Hey, I know you. Like, I know your project." So that's one thing that we're trying to aim towards. So definitely in terms of that, getting more coverage in the global markets, trying to, and that leads to the app and UI UX as well. I think right now the UI UX has been fantastic for the Japanese market. It's something that the Japanese users really love, and they love that we're all ears for all the feedback. And an aspect to this is our founder Koshi is Japanese as well. So there's that direct interaction that you can have with them on like Twitter or X, where if you tweet at him, maybe he'll like respond, and he's like a very casual dude, right? Um, so it builds this fan community. I know a lot of crypto projects have that where the founders are so accessible, they relate directly, and if people are tweeting feedback at the founder, then they're like retweeting it, reposting, and be like, "Hey, this is a good idea," or like, "Nah, we don't do this for whatever reason." that happens for us in Japan. Now, it's hard. It's a lot harder for that to happen for us in English or in the global markets. So I think that's one thing. Now, connecting it back to UI UX is so it's very Japan centric right now, and so we are looking at ways to make it a little more encompassing of global users, English speaking users, or whatever other language speaking users. Because this is a very interesting, I think, a very interesting UI UX case study. And I think it's even more so interesting because it's like Japan as a market as opposed to like a global market, wherever that is that because the UX experience that's in demand is so different. If you build something very specific for Japan, a lot of times it's very difficult to just take that, push it outside, have it be successful. Because a lot of the things that users in Japan find easy and relatable is not what we typically consider as a very simple UI, simple UX. Now there are some, and it's vice versa, right? So if you're a global product and you're coming into Japan, a lot of times localizing it is a big challenge. And it's not just about the language; it's about that whole UI UX, everything else involved as well. Now there have been exceptions to this, so I think TikTok is an exception, Instagram is an exception, and of course Twitter is a huge exception. Sorry, X is a huge exception. But in terms of other apps, like for example, Snapchat never took off in Japan as much as it did everywhere else, or even in North America, or Be Real, or whatever other. I'm just trying to think of different like photography apps, but so yeah, so it's a very tough line to walk. It's a very tough rope to walk on, but you have to figure it out if you're trying to survive and not just survive but thrive, right? So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking into. But sorry, I've been kind of going in circles, and that's how I keep losing track. But there is a few more things. We're releasing some very interesting things for the ecosystem. So we're releasing a Snap It credit card. So this is very interesting. In Japan, where you can get the credit card, and obviously, as with most credit cards, the more you use it, the more benefits you'll have, and you can pretty much use your SNPT tokens as well for payment. So this is really exciting for us because we're really merging in like it's it's like how did a GameFi become like you know like a wallet, like something to pay. Like the token is becoming a payment mechanism. And to preface this, over the last 6 months, we've had 3 to 4 restaurants within Japan accept SNPT tokens as a payment form. So we've been expanding slowly but surely into this scope as like something that's going way beyond just a simple GameFi lifestyle app, right? Like there is an ecosystem build, there's PayFi around it, there's this whole ecosystem that's being built around it, and I think that is very very unique to us. So we hope to be kind of expanding this within Japan, but also globally as well. Partner with a lot of different. I think restaurants is a great partnerships because think about all the marketing initiatives you can do, right? We're photos. So, hey, come to this restaurant, take a photo of the meal you love, and then whatever, maybe you get a discount or, it's promotions or whatever it is, right? So there's a lot of different things that you can do. And yeah, other than that, we have a lot of different collabs like anime IPs coming up, ones which people even in North America would know a lot about. So really famous Japanese animes that everyone loves. We'll be partnering with them, and so yeah, we have a lot in store.
I love it. We need to get this thing bumping a little bit in North America. It tells a great story. There's nobody else out here doing anything like what you're building, and we love to take pictures of food. I mean, that's just something everybody likes to do. I swear, every time I'm at a restaurant, my wife's like trying to take a picture of my food. I'm not really big into it, but she's like, we got to take a picture of this. When
Right.
she doesn't even post it, which is the funny thing. I'm like, what are you going to look at that later? But and send it off to friends and whatnot. But no, I think it's an absolute great story. I love the product. And Joe and I talk with NFT businesses every single day, and I think this is very unique. I really love what you're building, and you have a how to put it, like just a really well thought out plan. It feels like you're being very methodical about how you're moving forward. You're getting the right partnerships. You're obviously embracing your community, and you know how important I can already tell you know how important your community is because that's what at the end of the day moves the needle. So I love your success. I know it's going to be even bigger and even better. Excited to see when you kind of break into North America here. We're gonna get this podcast out and have some people in North America, our followers, take a look at Snap It. I know that's gonna help move the needle, and we'd love to kind of be updated on the progress here, and hopefully have you back on the podcast because it sounds like you have some big things in the works. Credit card sounds really cool, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I want to give an opportunity so our audience and everybody listening how they could possibly find you and most importantly find Snap It and get involved.
Yeah, we have our socials, Snap it, SNPIT underscore global on X. So, we're constantly updating. And just so before I fully finish, sharing this just reminded me to what Joe asked. Our socials, that I want to make it way more fun. That's one thing we want to improve on. Because it's way too serious right now. I think you'll notice as soon as you go to our Twitter. So yeah, I want to make it more fun, bust some memes out, whatnot. So we're working with the
Yeah.
team to try to make the socials much more fun and exciting. And it's like, okay, these guys are not just serious, like I feel like I only talked about serious stuff, but we're a very fun group of people. So but yeah, so follow us on Twitter. Follow us now so that you see the before and after. This is like I think all the listeners can be my accountability partner and okay, are they actually going to make it fun? So Twitter, snapit underscore global. We are also on Instagram, snap underscore app. Same thing. More stuff going to be coming out. Um, Hopefully, we'll be putting a lot more videos out, reels, whatnot. So yeah, follow us there and snap it, snpit.xyz. That's our landing page. It's a pretty nice website. Check it out. We'll get an idea on, what our overall goals are. You can access our white paper or whatnot through all of that. Yeah.
All right, and for everybody listening, we're going to put all those links down below the video so you can check it out. Ani, I love the idea of I love the idea of actually making the Twitter more fun for some reason. Anytime that like makes us like laugh. I mean, look at meme coins right now. The most silly
I
things
know.
run out of nowhere, but it
Yeah.
kind of lightens up our mood. Everybody's a little bit too like tight and serious, myself included. And whenever something kind of like makes us laugh, we always seem to like gravitate towards that. So I'm definitely going to be following your page. I'm going to get involved. I know Joe and I are going to be talking about it. Keep doing what you're doing. I have high hopes for Snap It and what you're building, and we really appreciate you jumping on the podcast.
Awesome. Really appreciate your time, Brian and Joe. Loved it. It was great fun. And hopefully I can meet you guys in person when I visit the US or when you visit Japan.
Yeah.